This Mother's Day, surprise mom with dinner for two and a piece of jewelry from S.E. Needham Jewelers. Choose from a large selection of pearls, silver, gemstone, and diamond jewelry. Or you may find something special for her in our family jewelry collections. With Mother's Day upon us this Sunday, maybe an S.E. Needham gift card would make a timely gift. With the purchase of $149 or more, you'll receive dinner for two. Come shop today for the people and occasions that matter most. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block at the sign of the clock.
Total joint surgeon Matt Olson at Intermountain Logan Regional Orthopedics is the only fellowship-trained total joint specialist in the Valley. At Logan Regional Orthopedics, we teach you everything you need to know to prepare for your surgery and then guide you as you get back to doing the things you love. For more information or to schedule a consultation with Dr. Olson, go to loganregional.org/total joint or call 435-716-2800.
News Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
The following is a paid program of commercial time on KVNU. The information, offers, and claims are solely those of the sponsor and not the opinions of this station, its affiliates, management, or employees. It's time for the Garden Guide with your host, Mark Anderson from Anderson Seed and Garden.
New research suggests that people are more likely to eat vegetables if they have a tempting name.
What would life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy.
And welcome to the Garden Guide
From
again.
gardening to landscaping.
Today we are going to try and create garden eyebrows. Kind of like the flowers are sprouting directly from your hair. That makes sense.
Go! Phone lines are open at 753-KVNU or 800-369-KVNU.
Kind of like eating vegetables.
It's the Garden Guide, now on KVNU 610 AM and 102 FM.
Now, welcome to the Garden Guide.
Hey, that's okay. A little early start this morning.
I'm just excited. I'm just really excited.
Just an early start never hurts.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah, early bird gets the worm.
That's right.
Stuff like that. So glad you're back today, Cody.
Hey, thanks. It's really good to be back.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like we've got an amazing Mother's Day weekend. It was like beautiful yesterday. Nice warm temperatures. A little cooler today, but sun's shining, sky's blue. Doesn't get any nicer than that. We've got some great deals going on at Anderson Seed and Garden for Mother's Day weekend. Of course, we've got amazing hanging baskets in stock right now, and they were going out the door like crazy yesterday. We just got a new shipment of roses in. The greenhouses are completely full of plants. We've got all the small vegetables, so squashes, melons, cucumbers. We've got tomatoes, peppers, and just about everything you can think of when it comes to flowers as well, too. It looks like we could have a little bit of frost tomorrow, though. So we sent out a frost warning to remind everybody that, hey, it is still the first part of May yesterday, and it looks like we could be in the very low 30s tomorrow morning. In fact, I checked my weather and Cache Valley, it's always a possibility.
It's a great curveball.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So we can talk about protecting plants a little bit today too, but we do have some great specials going on. So our wave petunias. So this is just a radio special. So if you're listening, when you come in, make sure and mention my wife's mother's name, which is Linda. So the keyword's going to be Linda today. If you say Linda, you can get our wave petunias. They're regularly $5 in 4-inch containers. They're on sale for $2 each. Our geraniums are usually $4, and we've got those on sale for $1.80 each. And mini roses, we just got some gorgeous mini roses in. They're regularly $22, and they'll be on sale for $16. So some really good deals. But that's our radio special today. You got to mention Linda's name to get those. They won't be marked. They won't be priced different. They'll just have their regular prices on them. But if you are listening today, and since it is Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day to all those mothers listening out there. We've got some great deals going on right now at Anderson Seed and Garden. So don't forget to mention the Mother's Day specials that you heard on the radio, and that they are codenamed Linda for today. So, and we have a guest today, Dave from Baicor. So glad to have you here, Dave.
Well, thanks for the invitation, Mark. I always pick up something.
Oh, yeah.
Good information.
And you always bring something to share with us as well, too. So
we try to.
Never hurts. So we've got some issues that people are dealing with right now. Of course, drought is a big issue that we're going to probably be dealing with all summer long. And there's some things that you have over there at Baicor to help with water retention and getting plants to have that water that they need, decrease the amount of watering that you use. One of my favorite products is Nutrigel. Yeah,
with the slow release fertilizer.
Yep, with the fertilizer in there. It just doesn't get any better than that. And you guys have been selling this for what, 20 years? Maybe
plus.
probably even longer. Yeah, mid 90s when you started doing the Nutrigel.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm
not sure if that was one of Dr. Miller's one of his first products out, but yeah. So
it seems like it. So that this is a product you can mix into the soil when you're planting. Like say you're doing a hanging basket or a planter, or even doing plants out in your landscape as well too. Mix it into the soil, and then how much water does it hold when you water those plants? It just sucks up the water like crazy.
I think we were stating it 200 times its own weight
in water. So it just turns into gel and just absorbs up all the moisture, and then has that fertilizer package in there as well too. So as it releases the water out, releases a little bit of fertilizer out too.
It tries to shrink back to its size, so it's original size. So
yeah.
When it's trying to do that, it's when it releases the water and the nutrients.
And the nutrient with it. And the nutrient lasts, it's almost all summer, isn't it?
2 to 3 months, depending on how heavy a feed your plant is. But
depending on how well people take care of their hanging baskets, that's a full season. two months. Yeah, 2 months. Yeah, for Mother's Day. That's usually when everybody brings their baskets in July and says, "What's wrong with it? It's not doing very well." Yeah, come the first part of July. So, but you just mix that into the soil. Remind me how much per cubic foot. So for every 12 by 12 by 12 inches of soil, you mix in a couple tablespoons. It seems like. I know I'm asking hard questions. Yeah, I'm asking the really hard questions.
Throwing me a softball here.
Yeah.
So like a 14-inch basket, I think it's like a couple tablespoons. But
yeah.
It's kind of if people are don't have a specific measurement, I kind of like to use the salt and pepper.
Yeah.
And up on top, and then mix it
and
in
then
soil.
And then work it into the soil.
It into the soil.
Yeah, right. So you want it down into the root zone where the plant's going to be able to get to it.
Right. And so that works. Yeah. That works pretty good.
It does.
But yeah, you want to definitely work it in.
Yeah.
That's not a top dressing.
Yeah. And that polymer that's in there, it just absorbs up moisture like crazy. So it's basically the same material used in diapers and other water absorbing products, and it just pulls up all that excess moisture and holds it there so the plant's roots can kind of grow over into it, and then it releases that water out to them. So
I think it really helps out, especially when in the hot summer heat.
Yeah.
It just helps retains that moisture in between water.
Yeah, which can dry out so quickly when it's 100 degrees outside. So it doesn't take very long for those things to dry out and go. So if you'd like to join our conversation this morning, it's a Mother's Day weekend. I've got Dave Brown here with Baicor. We're talking about Nutrigel. We're going to talk about tree treats and iron and fertilizers to keep your hanging baskets looking great. And we can answer all kinds of questions as well, too. But if you have questions about how to protect your plants, if we get a little frost tomorrow morning, just be aware that looks like we could be in the low 30s, maybe even high 20s in parts of Cache Valley. We need to be aware and watch out for Jack Frost to make sure the plants are well taken care of. But if you want to join us here on the show, 753-5868, 753-KVNU. And Cody, looks like we've got a phone call already.
We do. Yeah. Tammy, very excited to talk to both of you. Here
Wonderful.
she is.
Good morning, Tammy.
Good morning, Mark. I believe I was your first caller last week. I don't have as many questions this time, though.
Okay, that's good.
I finally got my apple trees trimmed, and I'm wanting to know if it's too late to spray the dormant spray on them.
You know what? Where they're starting to flower, How far along are yours? Are they just...
Mine are just starting to flower.
There's
a few buds open, but not all of them.
Okay. With the dormant spray, I would probably recommend you wait till after they're done blooming, and then we can use an oil spray on the tree while it's still cool, but we want to switch from the dormant oil to a summer oil, and there's a difference between the two. So like a mineral oil would work great for the summertime. It's not temperature sensitive, so it won't burn the leaves. It won't burn the tree at all, so you got to be a little careful. If you use a petroleum oil like we do for the dormant spray, it could burn the leaves on the trees if you get some hotter temperatures. And so I like to go with the mineral oil instead. We cut the ratio back to about 2 tablespoons per gallon, and it will still do a great job, just as if you'd use the dormant spray.
Oh, okay. So just mineral oil. And can I get that from your place?
Yes. We've got the mineral oil. And, again, very safe to use even in hotter temperatures. And it will control lots of insects and insect eggs that may have wintered over from last year and kind of give you a good, clean, fresh start. Works great on blister mites. We've seen a lot of blister mites the last couple of years on pears and apples, so it will definitely help with that too. So.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mark.
You're so welcome. Hey, thanks for calling this morning, Tammy, and happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. All right, we'll talk to you soon. All right. Phone number 753-5868, 753-KVNU, or 1-800-369-5868 if you'd like to join us here on the Garden Guide. And Cody, we've got another call.
Another one, yes. Everyone's super popular. Hopefully they'll get some softball pitches for you guys to answer.
Yes, Dave's over here. He's got his mitt worn.
There we go.
He's like breaking in his mitt.
All right, Dave, there we go. Maybe Ben's got something for you guys. Here's Ben.
Good morning, Ben.
Hey, good morning. First of all, Mark, thank you not only for the good products you guys do, but also just for the outreach into the community. It's so helpful. I do appreciate it.
This is like the most fun thing that we do at the store for like promotions and advertising. It's just a lot of fun. It's enjoyable, and I get to have great guests on like Dave as well too. So it's just a fun time. So thanks, Ben. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna dabble in the compost tea area this year. I've decided, and I know that Anderson's has a super secret proprietary formula or recipe for that. I don't know if you want to share that over the air or not.
That is a possibility, but our compost tea is magical. So I actually had multiple gardeners in yesterday that we were talking about it, and one had tried the compost tea last year and had gotten a couple gallons, and he was back and he'd gotten 2.5 gallons this year, and so actually got 4. So he just said his plants just went crazy with it, and they just grew better than they've ever grown, and he would just loved it. But he wanted to make his own as well too, so he didn't have to come into the store all the time. So it is kind of a secret, but it's not super secret. What we do is we start with a microbe package, and so it's got beneficial microbes and mycorrhiza and lots of beneficial biology to get started. So microbes and microorganisms that decompose organic matter, they decompose nutrient, they break down diseases, they just break down a lot of different things that are out there in your soil and free up that nutrient and make it available to your plants. Then we add in a fertilizer that's molasses and soy based, and so this is a really high quality organic fertilizer that feeds the microbes and makes them multiply like crazy. Then we aerate it, and so we'll aerate it for 24 to 48 hours, and as the water gets aerated, then it makes those microbes and microorganisms just multiply like crazy. So you'll start with millions of them, and it'll turn into billions of them, and the more they become active when you apply it to the soil, the more work they do in your soil to free up that nutrient and to make it available to the plants. So it really is amazing. Lasts about 10 days, 7 to 14 days. So usually about a week to 2 weeks they'll last in the soil. So you don't have to use it like every time you water, but at least every 10 to 14 days is what I like to do with the compost tea. And with our compost tea program, you come in and you buy a container, 1 gallon or a 2.5 gallon, and then you can bring it back in empty, and we'll just refill it for you all summer long till about mid-August is when we start shutting it down. So it's a great option.
Once you've got it, once you've got it, you just put, so like if you've got just like a vegetable garden, you just spray it just right on top of the soil, on the leaves. What's the best way?
So you want to water the plants with it. So you want to get it into the root zone. So you water the plants with it, and we use it on specific plants in our yard. You know, tomatoes, peppers. Use it on the hanging baskets. I'll use it in the planters. You know, where the plants sometimes get a little bit more stressed, and where you really want a really good showing. You know, whether it's flowers or vegetable or however whatever you're using it on. I'll use it on those specifically, and you can get it on the leaves as well too, because those microbes will act like a defense for the plant, and any type of disease that's starting to show up on the plant, it will break that down as well too, and so you'll see fewer diseases, you'll see fewer problems with the plant, and then the mycorrhiza will kind of colonize the root system of the plant, make it go even bigger in search of water and nutrient, and it just breaks that nutrient down so the plant can digest it a lot faster. So works great. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, thank you.
You are so welcome. Hey, thanks for calling this morning, Ben, and good luck with your compost tea experiment this year. So.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're so welcome. Have a wonderful weekend.
Okay, thank you.
All right. We'll see you. All right. Phone lines are open, 753-5868, 753-KVNU, or 1-800-369-5868. And Cody, the phone lines are just
They're
rolling
off.
this morning.
We love all of the energy going on. We've got Lori here. She's got some questions for you.
Good morning, Lori.
Hi. How are you today?
Doing really well. Doing well.
Oh, good. Good. Hey, I have a question for you. I have some raspberries, and I'm noticing a hole in the top of the raspberries where we've cut them off.
Yes.
And I think that's a borer of some sort, but I don't know, and I need to know what to spray on those.
You know, it is a good time to think about spraying for cane borer, and so that is not a bad idea. Right now, with the hole kind of appearing in the middle where you've pruned it, that's not uncommon for that to happen. There's a real soft tissue in there, and so you get some warmer temperatures and that soft tissue will start to deteriorate, so you may not have an insect in there. It may just be part of the cane has just kind of deteriorated back, and it's got that really soft core there, so it will look like an insect has gone down into the cane, but in reality it's not. However, your question is perfect, because usually right before they bloom is when we want to spray for cane borers, and so that time is coming up here in the very near future, and we want to spray those with permethrin or malathion. Both of those are very, very effective and very safe. If you want to go with an organic product, I would probably say spinosad or spinosad soap would be excellent also. And the cane borers, the adults come and lay their eggs on the canes, and then as the larvae hatch out, they bore into the cane, and then they go straight up through the canes, and they don't go down, they go up, and so the tops of your raspberries will just start to die back. And so we want to prevent that, because it does do a lot of damage to the canes, and you don't get as good a production as well too. So permethrin, malathion, spinosad or spinosad soap, those would all be very excellent to use, and you want to use it right before they bloom, and then again about 2 or 3 weeks later when they're done blooming and the fruit's just barely starting to set.
Okay.
All right.
Another question I have is, I have an apple tree, and it's coming out. The leaves are coming out, but they're looking pretty yellow. So I'm thinking I need to put something on it to help it not have that iron chlorosis.
Right. We've been treating a bunch of our trees for iron chlorosis this week, in fact, and that's one of the great products that that Dave has at Baicor. We were out doing tree treats this week. Yeah,
injecting the tree trees.
Oh yeah. How big are your trees, Lori?
Oh,
like how big around? How big around's the trunk?
I'm betting 12 to 15 inches.
Okay, so that's a good sized tree then.
Right.
Perfect for the tree treats. So how does that work, Dave? Yeah.
Well, like we were talking, it's a great time when you was out there injecting them yesterday.
Yeah.
So yeah, depending on the diameter of your tree, it's got instructions on how many to put. So it's going to take about 8 for that 12 inch diameter tree, somewhere in there.
Pretty good sized tree. We usually do like one implant for every, I think it's about 6 inches of tree circumference. Yeah, and that seems to work amazingly well. 3/8 inch drill bit.
And then about chest high or before the branches start coming out. And then stagger your holes. You want to kind of drill it on a little bit of a slant, and about the depth is about the same size as that tree. So
it's about an inch. It's pretty close to an inch past the bark, I think.
Yeah, try to get it closest to the phloem as you can. When I've used them about 2 days, the tree treat is pretty well taken up, and heck, within about I'd say a week or so.
2 weeks, yeah. Depends on how big the tree is. Usually a nutrient moves about a foot a day through the tree. So if you've got a 20-foot tree, 2 to 3 weeks to really see it hit the branches and the limbs and the leaves all the way through the tree. But it's got more than just iron in it, though. It's got
zinc and manganese,
and a teeny bit of nitrogen just to encourage a little bit of growth. So
help pull the nutrients up through the tree.
Yeah.
But it's an easy, no, but it is very, it is an easy way and very effective way to treat your trees
especially for big trees. Big trees. So Lori, I've got a pear tree that's just off the deck of my house, and so a good portion of the roots go underneath the deck, which I don't like to crawl underneath, and then a good portion of the roots go underneath our patio as well too. And so it's very difficult to apply a iron product to the ground around that tree, and so I use the tree treats on that pear because it's in some heavier clay and it tends to lack iron almost on a yearly basis. And so we've done implants on that tree about every other year for many years without any damage, any significant permanent damage to the tree. But you're just drilling those small holes, and I do like Dave said, about a slight angle, and I'll drill in about an inch past the bark, and then move over about 4 to 6 inches, and then I move up 1 inch, and then drill in again, and then move over about 4 to 6 inches and up 1 and drill in again. And I do that until I get back to where I started. And then I'll be, 5 to 6 inches above where I started, since I'm spiraling those holes up. And then I'll put an implant in each one of those holes. And like Dave said, all it takes a couple days, and just like the tree just sucks it right up, and nutrients pouring through the tree all of a sudden. So
it's a neat time of the year to do it, because the tree's own sap's going to take that nutrient up into the tree. So the sap's running up, and so it'll take it up.
Works great.
Okay, so I have some liquid iron.
Yeah.
I'm sure that won't work as quickly, but will that work?
Will work very well also, yeah. So do you have like the combo chelate?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the combo chelate is amazing also. For trees, we're usually doing, about an ounce per inch of trunk diameter?
I think so, right off the top
about,
of my mind.
About an ounce per inch, and then you can just mix it up in water, and then just water the tree with it out where the tips of the branches reach, and it does a great job too. Combo chelate's got a few more micros in it, so it's got a really great micro package, and just a little bit of potassium, I think, as well. So, yeah.
Okay, so you don't put it by the base of the tree; you put it out
where the tip, out where the drip line is, so out where the tips of the branches reach. Yeah. You can do it next to the trunk, but there's not quite as many feeder roots right there. But if you put it out where the tips of the branches reach, then it'll pick it up a lot quicker that way. That's where the fine root hairs are.
Okay. One last question: if you're doing the hole with those little plugs, what do you plug the hole in with after you've got it in?
I've got some grafting wax that works great. They'll just fill those holes right in, so you don't have insects setting up shop there or anything, and it kind of seals the wound so the tree will heal over a lot faster. And it's very easy to work with. It's very pliable, and it does a great job sealing up those wounds.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I appreciate your help.
Perfect. Hey, thank you so much for calling this morning, Lori.
Thank you.
All right. Have a happy Mother's Day.
Well, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
And can we sneak one more call in?
We're going to sneak one more in, and then we got that break afterwards. We got
awesome.
Catherine on the line for you.
Good morning, Catherine. Welcome to the Garden Guide.
Hi. Quick question. Compost tea again. Do I water it before I put the tea on or after, or do I let it wait a while? What's the watering schedule with that?
Use it just like you would regular water. So you're just going to like water your plant with the compost tea as if you would just, mixed up a little bit of fertilizer in a 2.5 gallon watering can and just like water them with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Thank you very much.
Oh, you are so welcome. So welcome. You'll love the compost tea if you've never used it before. But I like have mine in a watering can, and then I just like get some on the leaves because it'll pick up that nutrient through the leaves as well too. Breaks down the diseases, and then I water the root system with it as well too. And I'll tell you, my tomatoes just go crazy with it, and their hanging baskets.
Mine went nuts last year.
And the hanging baskets just like flower and really helps with stress and other issues as well too. So.
Okay, that's what I needed to know.
Wonderful.
Thank you so very much.
Thanks for calling, Catherine. Have a happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right, we're going to take a little break, and I just want to remind you that we've got some specials going on today for Mother's Day. Of course, the greenhouses are full. The nursery's full of trees and shrubs and perennials, and lots of things in bloom. Wonderful vegetables, but we've got a couple specials going on. If you mention Linda, that's our secret word for today. That's my wife's mother's name. We've got our wave petunias on sale. They're regularly $5. They'll be on sale for $2. So that's the Linda special. Our geraniums are $4 regularly, and they'll be on sale for $1.80. And our mini roses that just came in that are gorgeous, they're in about 6-inch pots, deep ones. They are regularly $22, and they'll be on sale for $16. So you got to make sure and mention at the store that you heard on the radio today that Linda was the secret word, and we'll make sure and offer those specials to you when you check out as well too. So we're going to take a short break. Cody, thanks for manning the phones.
Thank you so very much.
You were busy over
there. I was. You know what? It's really good to be
busy.
busy, though, isn't it?
We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Perfect.
I'm Will Feelright with your KVNU News update this hour. It's brought to you by Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. A 34-year-old Logan man has been arrested and charged with allegedly strangling a woman during a domestic dispute earlier this week at a local hotel. Kyle R. Loudon was booked into the Cache County Jail Thursday. Loudon was arraigned on criminal charges during a virtual hearing in 1st District Court Friday morning, appearing by web conference from jail. Cache County Deputy Attorney Jacob Gordon asked the court to hold Loudon without bail. He argued that the suspect posed a substantial risk to the alleged victim. Public Defender Diane Pitcher disagreed with Gordon. She said that even though the evidence sounded pretty bad, there were ways that her client could be released safely. She recommended that Loudon be placed on pretrial supervision or an ankle monitor. Judge Spencer Walsh sided with prosecutors and ordered Loudon to be held without bail. He ordered the suspect to appear again in court May 19th. An Idaho death row inmate, Gerald Ross Pizzuto Jr., has been scheduled for execution by lethal injection June 2nd. A judge earlier this week signed the death warrant for the terminally ill 65-year-old inmate. The planned execution was first reported by the Marshall Project. Pizzuto is one of 8 people on Idaho's death row. He went there back in 1986 after his murder conviction for the 1985 beating deaths of a woman and her nephew at a remote Idaho County cabin where they were prospecting. Well, looking at colder temperatures over the next few days, as daytime temps staying only around the mid to high 50s. Overnight temperatures are going to stay right around the mid 30s with a mix of sun and clouds the next few days. As we head towards the first of next week, though, clouds will begin to increase, and that will bring a chance of some showers possible for Monday. I'm Will Feelright for KVNU News.
From ABC Sports. Hi, everybody. I'm Todd Ant. The no-hitters just keep on coming.
Swing. A weak grounder to short. Farmer in. He has it to first, and that's it. A no-hitter for Wade Miley.
The call on WLW as the Reds' Wade Miley gets the final out of his 8-strikeout, 1-walk masterpiece against the Indians, recording the 3-0 victory. It's the second no-hitter this week and the 4th already in MLB this season. To the NBA, Damian Lillard dropped 38 on the Lakers en route to a 106-101 Trailblazers victory.
Bounce pass back to Dame. Quick three-pointer. Buries it. Damian Lillard gives the Blazers a 7-point lead.
On KPOJ, with the loss, the Lakers fall to the 7th seed in the West and out of a guaranteed playoff spot. Meanwhile, Bojan Bogdanovic scored a career-high 48 as the first-place Jazz held off the surging Nuggets 127-120. This is ABC Sports.
Spring is the season to get outside and do a project or two. A good place to get started is Stevens Forest Products. Pick up bark, mulch, or compost by the bag for $1 or $2 less at Stevens, or buy it in bulk and save even more. Stevens is also your best source for flagstone, perfect for patios and walkways. Choose from 7 colored choices. Pick up a few pieces or take home a pallet. Delivery options are available. Stevens is also home to over 5,000 in-stock railroad ties with prices beginning at $13.99. Stevens Forest Products, between Smithfield and Logan at 3277 North Main.
The expert with a green thumb. It's the Garden Guide on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Welcome back, everybody. We're very excited with Mark and Dave here to go along and get more of your questions. Again, text into the show at 1-800-369-5868 or 753-5868. We'd love to take your questions. Mark, thank you.
You are so welcome. And we just have had some amazing questions already this morning. And the store is just like loaded, lined up, ready to go for the holiday weekend, for Mother's Day weekend. Beautiful plants. We got some gorgeous roses that just came in this week, and some lovely shrubs and perennials as well too. Filled the greenhouses up. It seems like every single day we were just like unloading racks and unloading more racks of flowers and vegetables and everything. It's just like so we are stocked and ready to go. Don't forget, it looks like it could freeze tomorrow morning, so just be aware if you're planting tender stuff, peppers, tomatoes, cucumbers, squashes, melons, and a lot of flowers. They are not frost hardy, and it could do some damage. So kind of keep an eye out for those things and watch that weather. We've got some ways to help you protect your plants as necessary. It is the first part of May, and it's not unusual for us to have frost until about the 20th, 25th of May. So just be aware of that. So, Dave, we've been able to talk about some great products too. So we talked about tree treats and Nutrigel. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. But you guys are like the best to work with, and every year we kind of hit you up for some free product to take care of the hanging baskets on Main Street, and we use our what we call our secret recipe on the hanging baskets, and that includes the Pro Bloom to keep the plants blooming, and the all-purpose from Baicor, and it's got more of a balanced fertilizer package in there. We use a wetting agent, the Easy Wet, to keep the baskets hydrated all the time, and it makes such a big difference. And then we hit them with the compost tea about every 2 weeks.
Boy,
yeah.
So they're
They just get everything. Yeah, those are the big 16-inch baskets that just like fill the whole basket and cascade down, and we do a special petunia in there that's called a Vista petunias, and they go crazy. They like the heat, and between your fertilizers that we use that kind of have a combination in there, we'll use the combo chelate on them every now and then too.
Right. Since the geraniums might get a little
they get watered so much that it leaches some of the available iron out of the soil, and so they'll start to yellow up just a little bit. So we'll once a month, sometimes every 3 weeks, we'll do a little extra iron combo chelate. Yeah, a little combo chelate to keep them looking good. But for the most part, it's the all-purpose and the Pro Bloom, and we alternate them every other. Well, we usually do Tuesdays and Fridays. So we'll fertilize on Tuesdays, we fertilize on Fridays, and we alternate the two fertilizers. And then occasionally we'll throw the compost tea in there about every 2 weeks, and a little bit of iron. And man, that just keeps the baskets looking amazing.
Excellent. I'm just sitting there. Yeah, I don't know if people realize, but there's nowhere for those plants to get nutrients in those baskets once they're taken up. So
the way I explain it to people is like, say you're only fertilizing once a week, and you're using Miracle Grow, which isn't even the same fertilizer as what it used to be for years and years. They changed the formula on it, and it's not even the same stuff, but they still market it as the same stuff, even though they completely changed the formula. It's not the same Miracle Grow I grew up with. But people will fertilize it once a week, and they're like, that's perfect for them, right? And it's like, well, Cody, do you like to eat once a week?
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, so they want to eat every day, just like us, and so you got to keep that fertilizer out there consistently for them. But if you fertilize on Monday and then Tuesday you water them, because they have to be watered every single day. Right. You water them with just regular water. It leaches a lot of the fertilizer out the bottom when the water runs out the bottom. So now it's just taken away all the fertilizer you put into the soil and leached it out. And then Wednesday you water it again with just straight water. So by Wednesday there's no food left for them, and they basically starve from Wednesday until Monday when you feed them again. And so that's why we do 2 or 3 times a week, because every time you water them with that fertilizer, it gives them that nutrient package. It sticks around in the soil for a couple days, and then you hit it again. So it's like there's a constant flow of nutrient for them there.
Are you doing a lower dilution ratio?
We're doing an ounce per gallon. I think is what we're using on them. Yeah.
And no burning,
no burning, because they just take so much water to keep them looking good that it just leaches all that fertilizer out. And so by if you fertilize on Thursday or on Tuesday, by Friday you got to hit them again because they're hungry.
So 1 ounce per gallon, so 1 to 100. So wow,
yeah.
Well, good.
It does. It works. It works perfect. And then the compost tea helps break all that nutrient down, keeps the soil healthy, so that the fertilizer is more available to the plants as well too. So it makes a big difference. Yeah, it makes a big difference. If you'd like to join us on the show, we're talking fertilizers, we're talking frost, we're talking amazing plants. 753-5868-753 KVNU or 1-800-369-5868. We got another caller.
Yes, we do, Mark. We got Marilyn on the line for you.
Good morning, Marilyn. Welcome to the Garden Guide.
Good morning. This morning I'm concerned about how to keep my cherries, because I get cherries growing on my tree and they get just about ripe and the birds eat them all. And the next question I want to ask is, when do I trim the cherry trees and the apricot trees?
Great questions. So birds devoured my cherries last year, just completely wiped out our cherries. I don't know if it was timing or what the deal was, but the cherries were coming along and they were looking great. We're like, oh, we're going to have a good crop of cherries. And then this flock of birds came out of nowhere and just snarfed them. there was nothing left. Yeah. So there are some options for you, Marilyn. So you can cover the trees with netting, and you got to do it just when the cherries are starting to show a little bit of color. So as soon as the cherries start to turn like a salmon color, that's when you want to cover them, because the birds will eat them prematurely before they're ready. Before we think they're sweet enough, the birds will just be eating them like crazy. And so netting works really quite well. There are some sprays as well too that will discourage the birds that are made from extract of grape seed. And you got to be careful with that, though, because it can flavor your cherries a little bit. So you got to spray a little bit earlier before the cherries come on, and you got to wash them really good, because it makes them taste like a bitter grape, and the birds really don't like the smell or the taste of it, so they'll leave the cherries alone that way. We have a new repellent coming, hopefully, I have my fingers crossed, next year, that is all natural, amazing way to keep the birds off of fruit, but it's not quite available yet. It hasn't been approved by the EPA. So as far as I know, one of our manufacturers is working hard on it to get it ready for next year. And I do.
Does it help to hang aluminum, shiny, something flashy?
Yeah. That was my third option. Is you've got like metallic tape. I've got tape at the store, and it's got a little bit. It's kind of mylar, like a mylar balloon. So it's very reflective. Yeah. It's got a little holographic image in it, and so when the wind blows, it just moves just a little bit and reflects light, and that reflecting light mimics movement, and the birds don't like it, and they think it's a predator coming to eat them, and so they fly away. And so those streamers actually work really well on the trees also. And so I've got that. It's very inexpensive. You just I cut them in 4-foot lengths, and then just tie them on the branches out on the exterior so the birds can see it, and hopefully it will scare them off as well too.
And then about trimming them. When do I trim the apricots and the cherry trees?
So you can prune pretty much any time during the year. And so don't hesitate to prune. If you see stuff that needs to be taken care of, anytime through the summer, that'll work just fine. But normally we will prune them early spring, and prune them depending on the type of the tree, a little bit more aggressively for the apricot, a little less aggressively for the cherries because of the way they set the fruit. And so my fruit growing guide has some great information in it on how to prune cherries specifically and how to prune apricots and plums, because they do take a little bit different technique to get them to produce well. But normally it is in late February through March into the first part of April, which is a great time to do the pruning on those. So, all right.
Perfect. I think that she dropped out.
Did we lose you, Marilyn? I was going to say Happy Mother's Day, Marilyn, and thanks so much for calling as well, too. So hopefully we got your question answered.
Hopefully. So. Thank you so much, Marilyn.
So if you'd like to join us on the show, we got about 15 minutes left. 753-5868, 753-KVNU, or 1-800-369-5868. So we were talking about the combo chelate, and that's still one of my very favorite products, one of the first products that Baicor put together, and we use it consistently on hanging baskets, perennial flowers, shrubs, trees.
Works well as a foliar or as a drench.
It does. It does, and it's so easy to mix up, and it just does an amazing job. And
like you were saying with the iron, I think it's 4.5%.
It is
chelated iron, but then we've got the iron, the zinc, manganese. I think there's some boron in there,
copper.
Mm-hmm. So. We're just not just going after the iron.
Right.
It's got
a full micronutrient package. Yeah. So a lot of times people bring samples in and it looks like iron deficiency, but there are times when it could be a manganese. As well too. So it's a great product to be able to point people to, because it not only takes care of the iron, but it takes care of a lot of other micronutrient deficiencies. And I think a lot of people don't realize that micronutrients are essential for fruit trees. So important for the fruit trees. And so what we've started doing with our fruit tree service with Logan Extermination is we've started putting a micronutrient package in with the fruit tree spray when we spray trees. So when we're going out and we're spraying the trees for codling moth, like say apples and pears, or we're spraying your peaches for aphids, or whatever it is, we've got a little bit of a micronutrient package in there as well too. And so the trees pick it up through the leaves. So they're absorbing it in through the foliage, and it's improving the quality of your fruit every time we come and spray for insects. So,
nice. Yeah. I mean, if you're just, one micronutrient, it will knock down your growth and development of your fruit.
Oh yeah,
And boy, it's
absolutely.
Just like, wow.
Yeah,
those micronutrients are just important as your NP, nitrogen.
And if you're lacking one, all of a sudden the tree's struggling. It's dropping fruit. It's a lot of different problems arise because you don't have the proper micronutrients for your trees there. And so we've started adding that into our fruit tree spray, and it's very, very inexpensive to do. But all of a sudden, every month your trees are picking up a little bit of extra micronutrients
that we're lacking in our soil.
Yeah. And a lot of times the trees, if they've been there for a long time, they've depleted the soil of a lot of those minerals and micronutrients as well too. So we try and boost them in the spring in the soil, but also a little bit foliar through the summer times. Not a bad deal.
Right. I like it. I do like doing foliars, Boy, it's pretty instant.
It really does a great job. So, okay, we've got another caller.
Yes, we do. We got a couple on the line, actually.
Awesome.
First one here is Lori.
All right. Good morning, Lori. Welcome to the Garden Guide.
Good morning. I have a question. My zinnias are just coming through the soil. Will they freeze tonight? Should I put something over them, or what would you recommend? They're just tiny.
I would definitely cover them. Would not be a bad idea. Make sure that the fabric or the plastic that you put over them is not touching them, because it'll freeze them right through there. But zinnias are one of the more tender crops, especially where they're seedlings and they're just barely coming up. And we have our fingers crossed that we're not going to get too cold. So if we hit 32, 31, that's really not too bad. and frost will be very sporadic that way. It'll just be kind of jumping around. But those little small seedlings would be very tender and susceptible. So a little bit of frost cloth would be excellent. In fact, I just planted some seedlings, hardier plants, but they've just come out of the greenhouse and into my garden. And so I've got like some kohlrabi and I've got some fennel that we just planted, and I've got it covered with a little frost cloth just in case, because they are a little susceptible coming right out of the greenhouse. So,
okay. Yeah. Would it be a bad thing to just sprinkle some potting soil over the top of them?
You know what? Covering them with a little bit of a light potting mix where they're really small, that would protect them also. Yeah, that would work great. Right. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, hadn't thought about it.
And then I have a micronutrient question. Does the root drench, does that provide micronutrients to my fruit trees or not?
Like the kangaroos?
Yes.
Yeah. The kangaroos actually has a lot of micros in with it. And
is there something better than that, or would that be the best one?
That would be excellent. And what I will do is I'll take my kangaroos and I'll put the combo chelate in with it that I've been talking to Dave about, because it has more of the micros in it, and then the microorganisms that are in the kangaroos will pre-digest that nutrient and make it even more available to the plants. And so it works great. So instead of doing 2 tablespoons per gallon on the combo chelate, I cut it in half, where I'm mixing it with like the kangaroos or the micro brew, and it frees that nutrient up and makes it available to the plants so much quicker, and it really does a great job.
Okay, very good. I'll do it.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck with your flowers, Laurie.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
Yep, we'll see you. Okay. And our next caller.
Yes, we have Linda here.
All right. Good morning. Welcome to the Garden Guide.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions. First one is about apricot. I actually lived in Wenatchee, Washington before here.
Yes.
And I saw that you mentioned that one in your book.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to find an apricot that I can grow here in Minden that I can do the really nice dehydrated apricot. What variety do you recommend for that?
That is a great question. And where you're in Wellsville, you got to go a little hardier. And the Wenatchee Moore Park is an amazing apricot. I congratulate you from coming from that wonderful place. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful there.
Fruit heaven.
Yep, it sure is. But you may struggle with that tree in Wellsville. So we got to go a little bit. We got to go a little bit hardier. So my recommendation would be one that is called Montrose. Montrose is a much hardier apricot. You could also do the Chinese apricot, which is extra hardy. And then this year we had an apricot that comes out of Canada, and it is called Canadian White Blenheim. It's a white apricot. And I was going to plant one, and I had one tagged and set aside at the store for me. And I don't put my name on it because I don't want people to know that the stuff's for me. So I had somebody else's name on it. And it was like our code name that my dad used to always use, and it was Charlie Tucker. And so I would tag it for Charlie Tucker. And that was always Dad's product, or whatever it was. Somebody swiped my tree. Darn it. That's like the tag disappeared, and it went right out the back door. So
maybe Charlie Tucker.
It's a possibility. It's a possibility. But, when people come in and say, can you just hold this for me? I need you to hold it for like a week. And it's just like, I can't guarantee that it's going to like disappear, because it does happen from time to time. And I have been victimized as well as other people. So Canadian White Blenheim. It is supposed to be one of the sweetest, amazing apricots ever, and I wanted to try it, and maybe next year. Yeah, maybe next year. So
okay.
All right.
If I have one more question, listening to all your various, for lack of a better word, nutrient cocktails.
Yeah.
Do you ever have to be careful, like medication, where something's contraindicated, or are there things that you wouldn't mix together, or you have to be more careful with amount that you use because you're mixing different ones together?
Also an excellent question. So you don't want to double up on some of those things. And so we will usually watch what the guaranteed analysis is on a lot of the products. And if we're mixing them together, nitrogen's the one you got to really watch out the most for, because you get too much nitrogen in there, you're gonna burn the plants. And so we'll always watch for different things. So with our compost tea, the two different products that we use together, we'll use the fertilizer from Messina's, and we use the microbrew from Fox Farm, and they both have nitrogen in there. And so we don't want to duplicate the nitrogen content, and so I'll use half doses of both as we mix them together, and that works great. It would be tough to really overdo some of the micronutrients because the packages are so small on them, and so that could potentially be problematic if you're getting too much in there. But I'll always watch the fertilizer analysis, and if your nitrogen or even your phosphorus or your potassium content is too high on both of those, then I'll dilute it down so that we don't have interactions. So your question is excellent, very appropriate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
You are so welcome. Hey, thanks for calling this morning, and happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Oh, and I forgot to mention to Lori too. Happy Mother's Day to Lori as well. So I forgot. Sorry. Such an important weekend.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, it sure is.
Yeah. Is your mother still around, Dave?
No, she's not. But
good memories. I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember. So yeah. Ronette lost her mom many years ago, and I still have my mom. So I'm very fortunate.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, very fortunate. So, all right. Do we have another call? Or
well, currently right now we're blank.
Cody, you scared them all off.
I know.
Cody.
That's what I hear that a lot.
Hey, that's all right. That's all right. So just a reminder, code word for today is Linda, which is my wife's mother's name. And we have some specials going on if you mention Linda's name at the checkout. We've got our wave petunias are regularly $5 each for the 4-inch, and they're on sale for $2 each. Our geraniums are usually $4 each, and they're on sale for $1.80. And our mini roses are regularly $22. They'll be on sale for $16 if you mention our code word for the day, which is Linda. And so we're trying to, honor our mothers that have helped us for so many years. And we've got some great specials going on. And of course, we've got hanging baskets. We've got some great gifts. We've got gift cards. We've got amazing shrubs and trees and tomatoes and all kinds of fun things going on at Anderson Seed and Garden. And, someone told me the other day that one of their religious groups a couple years back did, instead of like flowers for Mother's Day, they did tomato plants, which I thought was really kind of a cool idea. But apparently some mothers were not thrilled with the tomato plants. so I don't know if I would recommend it really highly if you're like trying to find that last minute gift for mom. I don't know if a tomato plant is it, but I do have some really gorgeous tomato plants right now. Yeah, some really nice ones.
Well, it's a nice gesture.
It is. Yeah, but a little bit of extra work. It's kind of like giving mom a vacuum for Mother's Day.
We don't
want to create more work, but that's kind of what you do when you come to Anderson's. You're buying yourself a job. You have to plant things, you have to fertilize things, you have to grow stuff, but it's an enjoyable job, though. It's a really good one.
You can stand back and look back at it, and then even taste the fruit that you've grown.
That's right. So, Dave, we got to talk about some really great products that you offer, and Baicor's been a very important part of our community here in Cache Valley for many, many years, and we've had a great relationship with you all, and you provide us with some amazing products that make our customers much more successful. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Mark, for being a great supporter for us too.
And we mentioned it earlier when you and I were talking before the show started, but I think my hands down favorite product that you have is the seed starter. And just not enough people know about it and use it. But when I'm starting seeds, I use it every single time, whether it's grass or whether I'm starting tomato seeds inside or whether I'm planting my carrots outside, and just water them with that stuff. And they germinate faster, they get rooted quicker, they get established faster. I mean, a couple of years ago, I grew some squashes indoors, and I had really small containers, and the seeds were really big, and so I had to plant them kind of standing up. Usually I'll put the seeds laying down, but these were like standing up on end. And when they germinated, the seeds popped open and the germ came out, and it basically basically came straight out of the ground, so it never even touched the soil. But it came out of the seed, and like instantly, within like 24 hours, it was covered with root hairs, just like completely covered with root hairs. And the only thing I can attribute that to is the seed starter. Yeah, is the seed starter, because I mean those seeds germinated, didn't touch the soil, but they had touched the seed starter, and the roots were just going nuts. Yeah, so I love that stuff.
Well, like you say that,
it's like the best. Yeah, it's like the best.
But anything to help you, the seeds get going. It's get you going down the road.
It's just amazing. So now when I do tomatoes or peppers or anything, and it's like if I hit it with the seed starter and get them going, and then follow up with some other microbes and microorganisms, all of a sudden the roots are just like bursting right out of the plants. So
makes it
nice makes a big difference.
Right,
so it's the way to go. So all right, we've got just a few minutes. Not even a few minutes left. We've got like 30 seconds left. So, Dave, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, Mark.
Cody, thanks for running the board.
Hey, thanks. No problem.
Best producer ever.
Oh, thank you.
So, and
thank you.
Happy Mother's Day to all those mothers listening out there, and make sure and wish your mothers and significant female figures in your lives. Make sure they know how much they're appreciated, and don't forget about our special sale. Secret word is Linda for this weekend, and we got a lot of great things going on at Anderson's. Come down and see us. It's a little chilly out, but we got the greenhouses are covered, nice and toasty inside there, and wave petunias are on sale, geraniums are on sale, mini roses. If you mention our secret word for the day, which is Linda. So thanks for listening to the show. We'll be back again next week with another edition of The Garden Guide.
The preceding was a paid program of commercial time on KVNU. The information, offers, and claims were solely those of the sponsor and not the opinions of this station, its affiliates, management, or employees.
The biggest problem we have is ignorance.
KVNU Logan, 610 AM and 102.1